This was a banana skin, let's face it. We were all ready to say, look, United's poor form continues, but this was a good result, good performance. I think we were, weren't we?
I don't know.
Well, we've been bashing United over the last couple of weeks for their performances. They won against Brighton very poorly.
I don't think
they lost in the Champions League.
I think you're preempting this situation.
Well, no, what I was saying is that some people would suggest...
Well, I mean, it was a banana skin, but I don't think we were ready to be bashing United.
Well, if they lost, we would have bashed United.
But they didn't lose.
Well, exactly, that's what I just said.
They were 3-0 up. We were cruising. I mean,
I'm trying to be nice to them.
To be fair,
you're trying to be awkward.
The first goal was key. Up until the goal, Watford... no question, with a better side, but that goal just opened the floodgates. The one that Young put away, and before half time, you're 3-0 up. The game should have been done and dusted. They almost threw it away in the end, but they should have taken. They should have taken other chances. They could have been 5 or 6 up.
If you think you're going to, whenever we talk about Man United, we can't compare them with Man City in terms of the style of football, because it's just never going to stack up. So we might as well forget that, right? Their season's just going to be about getting results however they get it. If they play well, fine. If they don't play so well, they grind it out. They've got the power. They've got a bit of pace and they've got a bit of guile. So that's the way they're going to do it. And as Stevie said, it wasn't great for a long period, but it ended up being 3-0 up. It shouldn't have been as close as it was before the Lingard goal. But that's how United are going to go through this season. That's how they're going to try and peg Manchester City back. It's not going to be the pretty attacking stuff that we're seeing from the blue half of Manchester, but it might be effective.
And if they're going to make this a title race, make it interesting, they obviously need these sort of results.
Well, of course they do. Of course they do. But they're not going to make this close.
No?
Because just the same way that we see Manchester United coming up with the 3 points today, in the same way we can see Manchester United play the way that they play on the weekend and perhaps not get the result then. I find a Manchester United team that should be discouraged by one thing, and that is the performance of Romelu Lukaku, who continues to miss chance after chance after chance, and that in itself becomes important and significant when you play a match that really matters. Because if you're Manchester United and you're really in a title race...
But today's match mattered, didn't it?
Well, can I finish?
No, Watford have
May
been
I
good.
finish?
No, you're saying that Lukaku had a poor game.
No, may I finish?
Well, I thought you had.
No, I was not. You interrupted me. I think that was clear.
Right.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Sod off. That's what you're saying.
All I'm saying is that Manchester United, if they're going to contend, if they're going to be a real contender in this title race, they should beat Watford. They should.
Watford away from home this season? I think.
Well, what are we talking about here?
We saw a clue in the way.
Hold on a second. What are the expectations? What are the expectations for Manchester United? What are the expectations for Watford? This year, next year, or 10 years from now?
Watford have a very good manager, and they have a very good squad. And I think you saw that the way Mourinho set up for this game, playing the back three, some of the choices he made, Lingard in there.
So you're saying that Manchester United would take a point away at Watford then?
No.
Then.
What I'm saying is he set up, I think, for a tight game that maybe they were going to nick through an individual. He wasn't going out there saying we're going to go and we're going to flatten these guys. He viewed this, to go back to what Dan said earlier, as a potential banana skin. He showed Watford a lot of respect.
That's wonderful. It's still Watford. It's still Manchester United. And until somehow you're not going to convince me that Watford should be competing with Manchester United. If Manchester United is what they think they are, they should be beating Watford. That's it.
It finishes Leicester City 2, Spurs 1. We'll just talk about the significance of that result in a moment. Let's talk about that penalty. Was it a penalty?
I'm the opposite. I didn't think it was a penalty because I think Danny Rose kicked the player making the tackle.
You don't think? He did.
Yeah, but Gray's gone for the ball. Hold on a sec. The defender's gone for the ball and missed the ball. And as Danny Rose is having a shot, he's gone for the ball and he's got right in front of Danny Rose's leg, and it's a penalty kick.
You're not allowed to go in front of another
If you
player?
go for the ball and you end up hitting the opposition in your own penalty box, it's a penalty kick.
All right, okay, let's say it was a penalty kick. And let's say that somehow they get a draw out of this match. It's still not a good result for Spurs. No, you got to keep up with Manchester City and Manchester United, and it's not happening for Spurs. And this life for Spurs is real. We sat here and we said, oh, this team, this is a team that's going to contend. Not this season. See you guys later.
Yeah, you take a look at it. If you do the maths quickly, 13 points now separate Spurs and City at the top of the table. Spurs with a game in hand. Of course, that could go up to 16 points come the end of tomorrow.
Well, Liverpool and Burnley can jump them. Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, they're out, they've gone. I mean, they're in the Champions League and they've been pretty good in the Champions League. But they're starting to run out of gas already. Now, we've seen Spurs in the last 2 or 3 years. I know they finished, was it second last year? But they were in pole position to finish second the year before, and they faltered at the end. They're leaking gas already, and it's not even Christmas. I mean, this love-in with Pochettino, and we talked about it yesterday.
It's Poch. Yeah.
You know, there has to be some questions. There has to be questions. And the other side of the coin is when Alderweireld shows Mahrez inside, which is a mistake in the first place on his left foot, then Davinson Sanchez has got to step out. He's got to step out. Once he shows him inside, he's got to step out and put pressure on. And
that's where the problems are, defensively. This Spurs team, for me, since Pochettino's come, Pochettino, it was built on a defensive shape, a defensive rock that gave nothing away. And then you had your Harry Kanes and your Dele Allis that would get goals. I mean, think of all the draws they've had over the last couple of seasons. Because even though they weren't scoring, they were keeping everybody out. They can't keep a clean sheet anymore.
Let's go to Mr. Pochettino, love.
And Mr. Spurs.
I think it's a combination. It's a combination of things. I mean, there's also people like Wanyama, Dembele's been out for a bunch. In this run, they've also beaten Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund,
who aren't very good at the moment. Let's not pretend anymore that result against Borussia Dortmund means anything.
It is Peter Bosz. You're right. Touche. But I think
that was easy.
Well, there you go. Peter Bosz,
quick.
But I think there's also certain realization. Dele Alli this season, for whatever reason, is not the Dele Alli that he was last year, and he's certainly not the Dele Alli that people want him to be. I think he's going back to being. He's a young player, and he's going to have his ups and downs. Davinson Sanchez is another one. 21 years old. He looks great at Ajax. He comes in. He's got great potential in front of him. But what you said about showing Mahrez onto, in not stepping up when Mahrez, I mean, these are things that I think you pay a price for inexperience, and this is something that Pochettino needs to fix. I'm not sure that also, the back three worked for them last season. I don't know that it's something you necessarily need to continue either.
Aubameyang to Chelsea. Let's start with that.
Oh, we've started already.
It started.
Oh my God! It's not even December yet.
Shut up.
Well, look, obviously Dortmund not doing well. Aubameyang made it very clear last summer and the summer before he wouldn't mind moving somewhere bigger. Chelsea could use another striker. I think it's Aubameyang's people being busy right now. I think from Chelsea's perspective, until I think they might be a little bit slow to this. I don't think this is something that happens in January, by the way, because also it's cup tied in Europe. Simply because there's still the question mark about who their manager will be next season, whether Conte is going to be around. In the short term, I'm sure Conte would rather have him than not have him.
Right, okay.
Have we updated this? Is it the Gabometer or is
Correct.
it the Gabometer?
Gabometer.
Has it been updated, the graphic, or what?
I don't believe so.
Been,
not ready.
Refreshed?
It's getting revamped, ready for our new studio as well. It's all going to come
brighter,
together.
a little sharper. Hopefully Gab's the same.
Right, Aubameyang to Chelsea. Come on, Stevie. Do you like this?
If Aubameyang wants to go to Chelsea and sit on a bench, then yes, on you go.
But it helps the rotation, doesn't it?
By the way, wasn't he taking pictures, all dressed in blue?
On getting on that plane,
Getting on the plane. What happened to that plane?
Oh, I don't know.
Plane took off.
Delayed.
All right.
It makes sense. It makes sense for Chelsea. It doesn't make any sense for Aubameyang. As I said, does he want to play every 4 games? I don't think so.
Chelsea could have a new manager in 6
somewhere
months.
And play.
That's the reality. Chelsea could have a new manager who plays a different system in 6
In less time.
What about David Luiz to Real Madrid?
I'd love to see this happen just to watch David Luiz and Sergio Ramos.
Your beauty.
If this happens by his age,
I think David Luiz's advisors, they kind of know the score, but again, they too know that Chelsea could have a different.
Is he out of Chelsea with regards to Antonio Conte? Does he prefer Christensen and?
I think he really likes Christensen, but despite what he says, Conte also has an affection for older players who bring experience. But Christensen's just been too good, I think, to ignore, and I think he's surprised them. And I think he wanted to send a message with the David Luiz thing. He did it. I think we will see David Luiz again in a Chelsea shirt and playing with some regularity. Maybe not ahead of Christensen.
David Luiz to Real Madrid, worth the gamble if you're Madrid?
I don't think so, and I don't think that's the case for David Luiz either. I look at David Luiz, and he had sort of a resurgence in his career with Chelsea.
Yeah, last year.
And then he had the performances that he had. There weren't any of those sort of mistakes that we come to associate with David Luiz. You thought that there was something there between him and Conte moving forward. And now so quickly, just as quickly as he came onto the scene with Chelsea and played so well last season, just as quickly he seemed to have disappeared, and then that's it, game over.
I don't think it was necessarily issues on the pitch as much as it was issues off it.
What was he doing?
There's also just, I think, there's stories that...
What sort of stories?
Maybe Conte wasn't super thrilled with some of the things he saw in training from David Luiz, and I think that may well be part of the reason why he said, look, I have this guy Christensen who I think is just as good and he's going to be around longer, so let me go with him ahead of David Luiz. And at the same time, I'm going to send a message to the team about the standards that I expect in games and in training.
Ale Moreno is here with me. We're kind of dressed like detectives because we're going to crack some of these transfer rumors. Ale, you're going to tell me if you think that they could be hits or misses. Let's start out with Christian Eriksen. What a talent there. Could Spurs lose him to Barcelona, and would it be good?
When Spurs are not playing well, and they're not right now,
no,
and they seem to have lost contact with Manchester City, and they seem to be out of the race, that in itself starts creating an environment where maybe your biggest players start looking elsewhere. And it doesn't get much bigger than Christian Eriksen. And his performance with Denmark in the playoff, and potentially his performance with Denmark in the World Cup, may just open a market for him that wasn't open before. I like him going somewhere else, potentially Barcelona.
Hit for him, but definitely not for Tottenham. Aubameyang, we know that he has not exactly been silent about wanting to leave Dortmund. Would Chelsea be a good move for him, though?
Didn't he take a picture where he was blue, all dressed in blue outside of a plane? Did the plane leave? No. Is that what happened? Did he stay in the tarmac or what? Is he still on the runway? He's going somewhere. I don't know if it's Chelsea, but he's going somewhere.
All right. Thibaut Courtois to stay at Chelsea, would that be good for his career?
Yes. Thibaut Courtois at one point was a world beater, and he was playing really well. He hasn't been that consistent as of late, so I don't know that there is a market for him out there, and Chelsea seems as good as any other place. I think he stays.
Gareth Bale. Now, these two rumors to Manchester United have definitely been circulating for some time now. Gareth Bale to Man United, would that be a hit for him?
He's beginning to run out of options, isn't he? Because here's a player so talented but unable to show it on the field because he's always injured. And so once you get on that sort of negative momentum, it's very difficult to stop. And right now, it doesn't feel like there's a way back for him into Real Madrid and Real Madrid stardom. And so then you start looking for options. Manchester United would seem to be the obvious choice. And
they're on the up.
Yeah, well,
on the up they are.
You keep telling me that. However, they're 8 points behind. But never mind.
Never mind.
Details.
Gareth Bale could be the missing piece there. What about Danny Rose? This one also many seem to believe will indeed happen. So would it be a hit for both United and Danny Rose?
Well, he's been campaigning for this, hasn't he?
Yes,
when
he
was injured, he was very mouthy about it. He kept making noise about it. And let's be honest, Luke Shaw. No, well, Jose Mourinho doesn't care much for Luke Shaw, does he? And Ashley Young, as well as he has done, he shouldn't be your left back. So Danny Rose to Manchester United, yeah, I'm having hits all the time.
Oh, you're
that's
hitting them all out of the park today,
that's it,
Ali.
baby. Everybody.
All right, so everybody's a hit today in Ali's books. Continue tracking all of these rumors to see if they do indeed happen or not, whether it's January or next summer here at ESPNFC.com. Well, it's never really a positive thing when you lose one of your top players, like when Barcelona lost Neymar. But Lionel Messi, another top player, or the top player, is finding some positives. Ale Moreno is here with me for this one. Ale, he says there's a change in playing style. They're better balanced, calmer midfield, and a stronger defense. Do you see what he's saying?
Yes, I do. However, you cannot convince me that not having Neymar, somehow you've upgraded the team. It's a downgrade not to have Neymar because you have Gerard Deulofeu playing next to you. And by the way, Gerard Deulofeu is not Neymar.
No, he's not.
So in the attack, we have a different Barcelona. Not nearly as free-flowing, not nearly as effective. Maybe that has to do with the absence of Neymar. Maybe that has to do with the fact that Luis Suarez hasn't been playing well either. And so it has become the Messi show and continues to be the Messi show. Barcelona, because of necessity, I feel that Valverde says, you know what? We're not going to be able to play the way that Barcelona has played in the past. So if we're going to get results, we have to organize ourselves defensively, and we have to have a little bit more athleticism out of the midfield. And that's where Paulinho comes in and covers some of the spaces. Semedo has been good for them down the right-hand side, has provided them a natural outlet down the right. That gives the team more balance. but still a team that when they lose the ball and they get cut out of position, they are liable to give a lot of chances away because of the fact that they like to commit those numbers forward. I think Valverde, what he has done, he says, you know what? Maybe we're not as good with the ball nowadays. Maybe we drop in a little bit underneath the ball and we're more responsible defensively. And in doing that, they become more solid defensively. And in doing so, perhaps a more solid team. More explosive? I don't think so. But solid, yes.
Okay, so no Neymar, no problem, at least for now. But should something ever happen to Lionel Messi, the wheels could come off of this one.